Henry Dumas, Rita Lloyd, Randolph Evans, Arthur Miller Jr., Eula May Love, Michael Jerome Stewart, Eleanor Bumpurs, Yvonne Smallwood, Mary Mitchell, Nicholas Hayward Jr., Frankie Ann Perkins, Danetta Daniels, Taisha Shani Miller, Amadou Diallo, Margaret Laverne Mitchell, Latanya Haggerty, Malcolm Ferguson, Prince Carmen Jones Jr., Patrick Moses Dorismond, Earl Murray, Ronald Beasley, Timothy Dwayne Thompson Jr., Orlando Barlow, Kendra Sair James, Alberta Sproul, Osmano Zongo, Timothy Stansberry Jr., Henry Ace Glover, James B. Brissett Jr., Ronald Curtis Madison, Katherine Johnston, Sean Bell, Deonta Terrell Farrow, Tarika Wilson, Oscar Grant III, Shem Walker, Victor Steen, Kwane Carrington, Aaron Campbell, Stephen Eugene Washington, Ayanna Monet Stanley Jones, Dan Roy DJ Henry Jr., Derek Jones, Reginald Doucette, Raheem Brown Jr., Derek Williams, Kenneth Harding Jr., Alonzo Ashley Jr., Kenneth Chamberlain Sr., Romarley Graham, Manuel Levy Loggins Jr., Raymond Luther Allen Jr., Dante Lamar Price, Nehemiah Lazar Dillard, Wendell James Allen, Jersey K. Green, Sharice Francis, Rakia Boyd, Kendrick McDade, Irvin Lee Jefferson, Timon Robinson, Sharmell T. Edwards, Chantal Davis, Alicia Thomas, Chavez Carter, Reynaldo Suives, Noel Blanco, Melissa Williams, Timothy Russell, Darnisha Diana Harris, Shelley Marie Frey, Johnny Kamai Warren, Jamal Moore Sr., Kayla Moore, Kimani Kiki Gray, Clinton R. Allen, Kayam Livingston, Larry Eugene Jackson Jr., Carlos Alcias, Jonathan Farrell, Barrington B.J. Williams, Miriam Iris Carey, Andy Lopez, Jordan Baker, Mackenzie J. Cochran, Yvette Smith, Gabriela Monique Navarez, Victor White III, Dontre Hamilton, Eric Gardner, John Crawford III, Michael Brown Jr., Ezell Ford, Dante Parker, Tanisha N. Anderson, Akia Kareem Gurley, Tamir Rice, Ruman Brisbane, Jeremy C. Reed, Natasha McKenna, Janisha Fonville, Tony Terrell Robinson Jr., Megan Hockaday, Maya Swateza Hall, Philip Gregory White, Eric Courtney Harris, Walter Lamar Scott, Freddie Carlos Gray Jr., Brendan K. Glenn, Sandra Bland, Samuel Vincent Dubois, India Kager, Jeremy Bam Bam McDowell, Jamar O'Neal Clark, Corey Lamar Jones, Quintonia LeGrier, Betty Boo Jones, Alton Sterling, Philandro Castillo, Joseph Curtis Mann, Corin Gaines, Terrence Liddell Sterling, Terrence Crutcher, Alfred Olongo, Deborah Danner, Chad Robinson, Jordan Edwards, the fetus of Charlene Siobhan Lyles, Aaron Bailey, Stefan Alonzo Clark, Shaid Vasile, Antoine Rose Jr., Botham Sim John, Shaneed Okobi, Charles Chop Roundtree Jr., Emanic E.J. Fitzgerald, Atania Quais Jefferson, Manuel Manny Elijah Ellis, Breonna Taylor, Michael Brent Charles Ramos, Dejon Sean Reed, George Perry Floyd, David McAtee, Jacob Blake, and 2 people killed in the protests, a 26-year-old from Silver Lake, Wisconsin, and a 36-year-old from Kenosha. That list I just read you was a complete list of names of African Americans that were unarmed African Americans that were killed going back as far as 1978 to the present. If you look at the time frame it read, it took me approximately around 7 minutes and 40 seconds. It took 7 minutes and 46 seconds to end George Floyd's life. It took 7 bullets to permanently or maybe permanently disable Jacob Blake. Our lives should be worth more than that. The time it took you to watch this video is just how long it takes for someone to kill another unarmed black man. The time has to stop. We commend the NBA for what they did today. We commend MLS soccer. We commend the WNBA and those games in the MLB. We commend those who are standing up and protesting and putting themselves out there. But there has to be more done. We can start by once again continuing letting our voices be heard. We can start by making sure we are registered to vote. For those who think it doesn't matter, it does. Majority of these things that happened these last 4 years have occurred because we stood by and allowed him to steal an election and 45 to get put into the office. And as a result of that, it emboldened racism. It emboldened those who are pure racists and anti-Semitics. All those individuals who feed off of hate or emboldened to now our country has regressed instead of moving forward. So your vote does count. November 3rd is our chance to tell this country that no longer will we accept what is being done. That is a complete list of unarmed African Americans that were killed by police officers. And once again, it took 7 minutes and 40 seconds. 7 bullets in the back of Jacob Blake, and 7:46 is all it took to end George Floyd's life. What are you willing to do? Thank you.